Temptations or something, or
Stand in.
stand in for the Temptations. Scott Adams, everyone. Yeah, yeah, that's me, man. Come on. I always go back to that movie, White Like Me or Black Like Me.
Mm,
Somebody now he identified as a black man. He with the whole shebang.
he was in it.
He was
He was in the
100% in
mix.
it. And I think he was only like black for like 6 weeks and was like, I'm ready to kill myself. How can I? 6 weeks. I remember showing a buddy of mine that movie who was white. And I remember how uncomfortable they were as I was watching it because I set it up to be a comedy. I said, man, you gotta watch this funny movie that Eddie Murphy made fun of back in the 80s called Black Like Me, where he undercover as a white man. So that was a horrible way to set it up, but I did it on purpose. And it was funny watching the dude in blackface. Medically, he had the medical surgery to turn himself blackface. And then he traveled in Jim Crow South as a black dude, would study black people to write a report post Reconstruction about the different ways that the oppression of black people and the culture of black people was being silenced. And of course, of course, it's a brilliant, brilliant movie. If it came out today, it would be one of the most. It would be bigger than the Kyrie Irving movie that they were talking about on Amazon. And I think people should watch it. I'm gonna show my kids because they touched on some just crazy topics in that movie. But yeah, that dude, he was about that life, and I think it was based on a real person
Hmm.
that
I
ended
read
up.
the book
Yeah,
when I was younger.
and I
You
think the
you read
guy
the
that
book when you were
wrote
younger?
and the
Nice.
guy that wrote the book ended up having to move to Mexico, fear of his life when he just for writing the book.
Yeah.
What do you remember what you thought of the book, Tandy, when you read it?
I don't. I was young, so I don't know that I had any strong socio-political uh, takes on it, other than wow, he found it really rough. But I also remember how like the medical aspect of it kind of complicated. Wasn't he getting sick, taking whatever he had to take to darken his skin or something? That was pretty risky,
It was
for
like
that
bad on his
time.
kidneys, and
Yeah, that was
he
pretty
was
risky.
yeah.
It's
He,
not
so
like
yeah,
today.
he
Yeah,
went through the whole
uh,
serious process.
yeah.
To then, what made it even funnier um, was how could tell that he was not a black dude. And in my head, the movie was old, but in my head, I'm picturing myself today thinking if you see a dude that's been in the sunbathing too long, you
Mhm.
can tell like this dude is something's up. But nobody anywhere down south. There was maybe one black dude that was like I think kind of hints on something only because of the way he talked, but it wasn't because of how he looked. So that made me laugh. It's like you could actually have a procedure if you took a white dude off the street and then just gave him this dark, dark tan lotion or whatever, and for weeks on time, he darkens his skin, and then he could just go out, and then people instantly treat him as a black dude. To me, that was hilarious.
Yeah, need to revisit that.
Yeah, great movie. Great movie.
Maybe they'll cover it in a critical race course or something.
Oh well.
Yeesh. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. Never
yeah.
even heard of critical race theory until
Until people
the
start hating
last
on
few months.
it.
Like, this is the thing. Holy
First time I
shit.
heard about it was this is unconstitutional.
Wow.
A theory is unconstitutional. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, you know it's not unconstitutional. Can't
What,
tell us nothing.
Antoine?
Bow, bow,
Hey.
bow.
You rather four amazing individuals, put them in an improv group, place them in Houston, Texas, call them Can't Tell Us Nothing. It's amazing. It's awesome. It's fantastic. I love it. And if you put them on a podcast, they'll probably take opinions, discussions, and topics and turn it into improv scenes right on the spot, right in front of your eyes.
We may.
Just, just make it up as we go. You know, we don't know what we're gonna do, but it's a fun ride. So that is the show. Oh, Amici just got off the ride. He'll be back. So as you might imagine, we do have a couple of topics, but before we go into that, I just want to check in with you guys. How are you guys doing? John, how you doing? Tandy, how you doing?
Hanging in there.
I am doing fabulous. I'm defeating my enemies every day.
Oh.
And I am drinking from the river of success.
Ooh.
Yes.
What does the river taste like?
Tastes like it tastes like money, liquid money. Not the kind that you find in cash registers, a more refined crypto. Tastes like the first time you looked into some special person's eyes and they looked back and they communicated the same feeling of interest.
Compound interest.
Yeah, man. Feels like first time you bring your child home and you're like, we multiply, yeah. We in here. You know, all that.
Yeah. I got a little baby in my home. We brought back about 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yay.
And she's doing lovely.
Awesome.
So we keeping us busy. What about Amici? How are you doing, man?
Good. Yeah, I think I'm good now. I was having a couple of connection issues, but it seems to have cleared up. So the quick restart.
Dope. And I want to do a quick shout out to Reckless. We had a show with them on Sunday.
Yes.
This was past Sunday. Fun show. Thank you to anyone who came out to that. I don't know when our next show is. I should know this. I should know this.
I think
I'll know this before the end of the show.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Say that again?
There you go.
I think it's our next show is the end of the month, maybe the 24th, 23rd, sometime around there.
Gotcha. All right. Nice. That's a Friday. Dope. Cool. All right.
I can give out the real information. The 25th.
25th. That's Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but Amici still sound a little staticky on my side. How do you guys? What are you guys hearing?
Yeah, a little bit.
Amici, fix your shit.
He is trying.
Get it together, dude.
He got off to work it, and he thought
we're live right now. Get it together, man.
Off his back, man. It's because you got like a full sound
always
studio
defend him
in your home. Yeah, because he didn't bother anybody. I guess nobody out here really bothers anybody. There's nobody to really pick on.
All right. So thank you for checking in. Good. Speaking of picking on people, John, you had something you wanted to discuss, right? You even maybe had a video you want to play, kick things off.
Yeah. So I like to parse the web for some of the most zaniest or the characters I think fit the "can't tell us nothing" moniker. This person I am submitting goes by the name of Scott Adams. Scott Adams is in a whole, let's say, a flurry of issues with one of his late rants. He decided to put a quote online about if he thought it was okay to be white, which, depending on the context of how you ask that question, I don't think there's a big problem with that question, or at least answering the question. But in his context, he was meaning to demonize a specific group. So we have a video here that kind of shares some of his insights on how he feels about people of different races, specifically Black people. Let me present that one second.
Yeah, and while you're getting that together, oh, there you go. Nice.
No, you got what you said before you.
I was gonna say real quick that I've seen this sort of slogan before. It's okay to be white. I actually saw it on Quora a while back, and I was like, "What is this space? It's okay to be white. What am I gonna see when I open up this book?" And as you might imagine, it is just people just being racist.
Yeah,
and
so
white.
And my thing is, I have white friends. You know, I've had relationships with people white. I still have friendships with people who are white. I don't think the phrase in itself intrinsically is evil, but it's become the slogan or the dog whistle, you know, of our age that allows the people who do mean harm or do want to say these ridiculous things that they feel like are, and you know what it is? You know what kills me about it?
What kills you?
This group prides themselves on not being victims like the left. But is it okay to be white? Isn't that a little bit of a victim like question? It's like saying it's not okay to be white, and I feel like it's not okay to be white. And here's all the issues that I have. I'm a victim. It's not, hey, I noticed there's some issues going on between groups of people in this country for, let's just say, hundreds of years. And I choose to either engage or not engage in that, right? That makes you not a victim. That makes it, I feel like, can I accept, if he was to say, can I accept my Irish heritage? Can I be an Irish American and that be okay? I don't think nobody would say it's not okay. But the question is no country called white. And, and therefore, if you say it's okay to be white, what in this time, in this context, you're inferring that it is not okay to be white. And so let's just hear what he says. I don't want to muddle up his words.
I'm okay to be white, which is, of course, why I identified as Black, because so I could be on the winning team for a while. But I have to say, this is the first political poll that ever changed my activities. I don't know that that's ever happened before. You know, normally you see a poll, you just look at it and you go, whatever. Yeah. Oh, this is interesting what other people think. But as of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member of a hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group. So if you know, nearly half of all Blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them.
All right. So
right. Handle the rebuttal.
The subtle, like, eyebrow twitch.
I mean, that sounds like an argument I would have made in high school, right, or junior high. It's, you know, 50% of my survey. I mean, this survey is science. It's proof that all people
mathematical.
I vetted this with every group of Black in the world, and they all agreed this data aligns with all Black people. Therefore, 50% of Black people is a hate group. It's like, if we are, we're not a very successful hate group.
Did he say Black people or did he say Blacks? Because I stopped.
He said Blacks.
When people say Blacks, I
cleaned
stop listening. I know. I already know what time it is when it's just Black.
When somebody uses a lingo, you already know. That's the funny thing about living in our country, the melting pot, is people forget that there's so many different cultures. Each culture has their own way of doing things, talking, and referencing. And when you say something like Blacks, that dismisses the Trinidadians, the Jamaicans, the Haitians, the Africans, etc., who come here who have in their own subculture inside America.
Well,
So yeah, that to go on a step further, I was watching Vlad TV, and Vlad, who had Scott Adams on his podcast, gave him a platform because nobody knows who Scott Adams is. For those who don't know, he created the comic book Dilbert.
Hmm.
If you've seen Dilbert, you know, good for you. I don't know if we'll be seeing anymore unless you go on Truth Social or whatever that
they got a cartoon. They have a famous cartoon now as part of their package.
That would be if that was Scott. I'm just Scott. If you hear this, as a black, I do not hate you. Here's some advice. You should go on Truth Social and be the premier comic, especially to that audience.
They
You would do
probably
numbers.
They probably already recruited him. We're like, Scott's talking. Oh yeah, it's that kind of thing.
He could do like, you know how Beyonce and Jay-Z only released their album on Tidal. He should release his comic only on Truth.
That's the only.
That's your family.
And I'm so disappointed. I mean, I got my hate of like corporate culture from this gentleman. You know, he showed me the way of how asinine, you know, your bosses, the expectations, all of these things. And then he gave me a little something, and then he took it all away. Not really. I mean, you know, whatever. I have my own experiences, but I'm just saying, I spent countless minutes, moments, probably months and years reading Dilbert.
You were a Dilbert enjoyer.
Yes.
Ooh,
I've enjoyed a little Dilbert. I never really read it consistently, but there's a few strips I saw.
I think I will say, I think it's fair to say you can be a fan of a product someone created who you don't necessarily align with their values or care for.
Sure.
I'll give you an example. Most people, and I am a fan of this person. You know what? I'm not even going to say that because I still feel something about this person. I'll switch the person. It's a different person. What's his name? Dog the Bounty Hunter. Dog the Bounty Hunter had a show. Dog the Bounty Hunter was doing quote unquote God's work, praising God while slapping up, you know, criminals and turning them in for the bond. And then one day, the video comes out with Dog the Bounty Hunter talking about his girlfriend, his daughter's boyfriend who's black, and calling him all kinds of, you know, let's say racial epithets, right? And I remember thinking, man, I had a lot of time laughing at Dog the Bounty Hunter in his show, how redneck vert and all that. But to be honest with you, once he came out and said that, I can still watch his show and laugh at how ignorant and redneck the show is without necessarily feeling like I'm paying homage or supporting Dog the Bounty Hunter. Exactly right. I can watch something and laugh at it from a distance and still feel like if I saw him on the street, I would walk by and I'd say, oh, look, his dog. I got to go say, hey, I've seen all your stuff. Same thing with R. Kelly. I have yet to been at a wedding and have not heard R. Kelly.
Really?
White or black. I have yet to have been to one, and I've been to many in the last 2 years.
You know, and they've all played R. Kelly.
Yeah, and you know why? They don't realize that some of their greatest American hits, you know, that are so tied up into our fabric. Like if you like let's say we heard the dude that wrote Happy Birthday, the song Happy Birthday, was a pedophile. You know, are we gonna just start not singing Happy Birthday because 800 years ago he was a pedophile? You'd be like, you know what? The song is still fire. It's still the best way to quickly celebrate a
happy birthday song is not fire.
It is
fire.
The song is still fire.
It is still fire.
It's a slap. It's a bop. One of the top songs.
One of the top songs of all time.
So many songs that try to come for its crown.
It has probably the most undocumented streams of history of how many times people sing that song. But, you know, I think we would make that, you know, game time decision, you know, just like when Step in the Name of Love comes on and you cannot really hear, you know, malicious rapist R. Kelly in Step of the Name of Love. When that song comes on, you've been drinking, it's a wedding, that song, grandma gets out there shaking ass, you're gonna go out there, dance, and do the two-step with her. You're gonna be thinking, damn, this is R. Kelly and wasn't too. But you're gonna keep doing it because you're like, fuck it, we all having fun. Let's just not tell R. Kelly we dancing to his shit.
I'm not gonna dance to it. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm telling
not gonna
you,
dance to it.
he catches
I know
everybody.
people do. No,
It catches everybody. I'm telling you, one day you're gonna be somewhere.
I'm not saying that the
You're
song.
not gonna think about it.
I'm not going. It's the performative aspect of it, right? Reading Dilbert, knowing that he says it, right? If I just remember a Dilbert strip or whatever, and I don't, but it just if I do, it's in my mind, whatever. But for me to pick up a paper and say, "Oh, let me read Dilbert," when I know he says that, I'm not gonna participate in it. Same with R. Kelly. I know the music. Okay, whatever. I may feel whatever, but if I'm at a thing, I'm not gonna perform. I'm not gonna give it the physical attention. Yeah. I'm not gonna give it the physical attention. Whatever it is, I'm not gonna like visibly do a thing that says, "Hey, I support this," even though I know, it's anti-me. I'm not. I mean, some people do, but I don't. I can't play with you no more, Mr. Dilbert. And not that I was, but I mean, I did at one point, and I had no idea. But the problem is, so many people are like him, and when you really start cutting out, like I remember, somebody was protesting something. I forgot what it was, and I don't know if it was R. Kelly or what, but they were like, they're not going to do whatever because, or maybe somebody was racist or something. They're like, they're not going to do whatever. And I remember Erykah Badu chiming in, and she's like, "You're not going to pay the light company because like, they're racist." If they do something and it's racist, you're not going to pay for your lights. You're not going to pay. So we get caught up in this capitalist society with all of the people who are, all of these entities, can be damaging or whatever. But if I have it in writing, if you saying it out loud, if you standing with your 2 feet in it and standing up and talking about, I'm not going to be with them anymore. I'm not a black. No, I can't help you. I can't. No. I can't do it.
Dilbert's is a little different because you do have to do the physical reading of his comment, holding of it. It's not something that could be in the background. Subconsciously, it catches you, and then you go, "Oh shit, I'm cool," right? It's more like you have somebody to go, "Hey, check out this new Dilbert comment," slap it down, and you're like, "Oh yeah, oh wait, Dilbert, the guy that Scott Adams said all the racist stuff." Yeah, I agree with you on that. He has a barrier of entry.
Right. There's got to be some kind of penalty. I mean, if we just like go, what's the penalty? I mean, because for him, it's not. He didn't break any law, right? So you're not going to put him in jail. You're not. But what's the repercussion for? To me, that's antisocial behavior. If the society's trying to get together, what's the penalty for that?
I think his penalty is getting his comic book canceled.
That's correct. Exactly. Right.
But what one would ask, what if he didn't get it canceled, but the people voluntarily chose not to continue, like you said, right? Mm-hmm. The penalty would be organic and it would be more real because one could say, no, you said this, and because of that, the people that watched or read your content are now choosing not to consume that because there's 2 billion other content creators in the world, and they can go and do that. To me, when we start putting penalty, if they don't break a law, we're getting in a like weird area because how do you define antisocial behavior, right? A component is somebody has to feel it's antisocial. What does that mean? So
definition of antisocial. It feels antisocial.
It feels antisocial. So to my thoughts is like, I think they cancel the comic distribution, but that also could make him bigger and a martyr and make his more valuable. Oh,
Dilbert.
I mean, think about it, right? Like, I watch bad movies and banned movies. The ones that are banned, 9 times out of 10, when I pull up a banned movie and watch it, I'm like, why the hell is this movie banned? It's probably because the artist was like Scott Adams of their time. They were talking about the religion or they were griping about whatever. And the content in the movie kind of magnify that, so they shut it down to shut that other person down, right? But the content itself, stand alone, like I review it, and I'm like, I think this was overplayed. I don't think they should have went this hard. You made him famous by trying to mute him. I think if people just blew it off, said like, I saw a tweet and someone said, "Who the fuck is Scott Adams?" Right? That is does more harm to people, right? The apathy of whatever that person says. The energy we give it, I think they win, even if it's a negative energy. They win, right? My thoughts.
We cut to a living room. Hey mom, I thought you were joking, but now I see you're removing the doors in the house because of that article you read about the guy who made the doors in our house. I think this is going a bit overboard. The doors don't represent his views on Black people, right?
But his racist thinking and measurements and everything he did to come up with the design of a door, it's entwined with all of that thinking, Antoine. If we support that, we support him. So hand me that screwdriver.
But mom, all the houses in our neighborhood are the same. They came from the same construction company. They all use the same door. We can't be the only house without a door.
Yes, we can. We can be exactly who we are, Antoine. We're people who don't support racism. We don't support any of those types of thinking and behaving. Okay. Now hand me that curtain rod. I'm gonna hang that up. We'll just put curtain rods.
You're gonna put a curtain rod for a front
door?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
What if we just put "we don't support racism" on the door itself? I feel like we can still keep the door and have the same message. I think this is. I feel like it's unsafe, right? Like our energy bill is going to go up, and we have no security. People can just walk right in, walk past your curtain.
If they walk in past my curtain, then they're going to get a lecture from me about why we don't have a door. I'm going to take that opportunity to educate them about the person who designed doors, and let them know that they should probably skip houses with doors too, because then they're supporting the racism if they in fact kick a door down or try to break into it. Yes, I'm going to use this opportunity. I'm quitting my job and I'm sitting right behind this front door curtain.
No.
Yes. No, I haven't. Antoine, we have got to crusade against these people. Okay. Removing the doors is just step one. I'm totally enlightened now.
Well, hold on. You're saying that I have friends in the neighborhood. You're saying if I go over to Edwin's house, I can't use his door? What are you saying right now?
You stand right in the front yard and you call Edwin and you tell him to come outside. Because if I find out that you were touching doors or using doors, Antoine, we're going to have a big problem in this home.
Sorry. Hi, neighbors. Sorry. I saw there were no doors in your house. I was just going to cut through to get to the park. It's so there's no doors. Yeah.
That's a...
See, they think it's like a throughway or something. They can't.
Yeah. If there's no doors, it's a throughway. That's the way it works.
It's not a throughway. But thank you for coming. Did you know that the person who created doors is a racist? He enslaved many enslaved Africans to help design the door. Initially, the doors were just made of people's bodies, and they just all had to like hold hands and form a barrier, and he used that design to come up with a wooden structure that now we take as a door. Did you know that history, sir?
No. Wow, that's a lot of information you just gave me there. Wow, yeah, it's a whole history lesson.
It is. Oh, and I see you have a golf club. Are you going to play golf on the green there behind the house?
Yeah, I was.
Let me tell you a little bit about that golf club.
Oh,
the person who designed the golf club was also a racist. He had a stick and there was a ball in front of him, and he tried to hit the ball with that little stick and it didn't work. So he asked another enslaved person to please come and use your hand, grab the bottom of this stick so that it could make it easier for me to hit that ball. And that's where the golf club came from, sir.
Wait,
It was a racist. Yes,
the enslaved person held the bottom of the golf
Yes,
club?
he put his hand and he formed a fist at the bottom of the stick, and he was able to hit the ball. I didn't make this stuff up. This is what really happened.
We cut to Amici on the green with his friends. Wait, so you're saying that?
Hold on, dog.
You're saying that these clubs that we what? I'm trying to get my head around it.
I be too, man. I mean, what you saying, man? The slaves are hitting the white ball. I don't get what you're saying, man.
That yeah, like this game we're playing right now is racist. Like the enslaved person used to hold the bottom of the club to make sure you could hit the ball because it was like real thin and narrow.
How
I
is
mean,
it
I'm
racist
sure you guys are
today?
as conflicted as I am about this story.
Yeah, I'm looking at my golf club bag and it looks completely different to me. It's looking like I see just hands of enslaved people in this bag.
So you're saying that the slave people's hands and arms were in the bag? Those were the clubs?
Yeah, something like that. You know what? I don't think I'm explaining this like too well. There's a lady who lives in a throughway. Like we can go over there and she can maybe
Come
explain it
on.
better.
Yeah, let's
Let's just hop in the cart real quick.
let's hop in the
Just-
car and
hop
drive
in the
over
car.
there. 'Cause I can't play until I
Alright,
figure out
yeah.
what's going on here.
Sorry, guys. Wait, give us a few minutes. We'll be right back.
And slowly there's like people crowding in from different areas of the neighborhood, just trying to learn more about this history. And Danny's essentially giving this lecture.
Okay. Hold on a second. Now we got to quiet.
no.
Oh no! Wait a second. Is that a golf cart? Are you trying to drive that
not the
golf cart onto my? Everybody, turn. Look at those. Look at those three guys in that golf cart. The person who invented the golf cart was a racist. Initially, the golf cart was made of. Well, he had the enslaved Africans to
God.
form the frame of a golf cart, and four of them had to be wheels, so they had to move to put their bodies in a circular motion and also propel the golf cart. Several were they served as benches. It was just a total travesty. So no golf carts here, no golf carts ever.
And scene. And that is they're just building it with people.
Literally everything with slaves.
It's like the trial run. The prototype is enslaved
It's
people.
people.
Slave people
And they make it out of actual.
made of automobile out of enslaved people.
What up, Contessa? Hey, thanks for hopping in.
And I'm in no way making light of the abuse of labor and bodies at all. But it's probably true.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like to ask myself, why do we, going back to that America's not a moral country. I really feel like that's the root cause of all of this. Well, at least a big part of the root cause of it. But the other part of it, I think, it has to be some like deep-seated insecurity or something, man. Like I don't get it. No one was messing with Scott Adams, publicly. It sounds. I always like to think of what's the most practical explanation. There sounds like there must be some black dude who has access to a woman he cares about, and this is all stemmed from some deep level of insecurity. He said he identifies as black, right? I'm just
Because then she'll like him, right?
then she'll like him.
That's the idea.
Yeah, and then she found out, or then he found out that there you have to have other things to go with it, and somebody else has those, and that's when he was like, "Well, I have way more status as a white man, right? Why is it not okay to be white? Whatever." But same way I thought about Kanye. I thought Kanye's situation was mostly about Kim and nothing to do about contracts and all the Jews and all that craziness that she took. So it sounds like more about the women in your life and your struggles, and you playing it out at a level that makes it seem like it ain't about that. We all know people have done that and do that all the time, right? So
I think that's really true. I think if you boil it down, right, a lot of the insecurity that people are showing and odd actions that they take, there's probably some woman or man or parental figure that they are doing all this to either spite or to win back in some way.
Exactly.
Interesting.
That will always be my go-to. Like, I have to rule that out before I accept a conspiracy or something else.
It's like, where's the girl? What
is this all about? What is this all about? And like I said, I'm very seldomly wrong about it because people are way more insecure than we like to represent. And pictures, images, and words cover a lot of that up. But I'm a human. I know about my own stuff. I know my own impulses, and there's things that I see online that trigger me. There's been at least 100 times where I've typed out all of this missile of a response, and then I think, I don't really care.
Right.
Like I'm not yes, I may have felt that, but this person is not someone that I share anything with. Why would I'm really feeling about this. Let me go handle that. And then this is irrelevant, right? And it's not easy, but I think it's necessary to just be on, just take that awareness of yourself. So you don't get to the whole Kanye West loves Hitler and all that other bullshit. Who cares? Who cares, right? The person who would care is Kim. You know why? Because she is going to get a heat from it no matter what. She has her kids, and she has to pay attention to what he's doing. So, in my opinion, I'm sure Scott Adams. We saw what happened to Donald Sterling. Remember Donald Sterling? Who was he talking to? A woman. The whole situation over a woman. It's always over some close in context relationship that blends out that insecurity. My opinion.
We cut to a large wooden oak table in a very very snazzy high class office meeting room. All right, Amici, you've worked real hard. We're all really appreciative of the work you put in and impressed by how you've done it. We want to invite you to the fold, to the partnership of this agency. However, before we do, we need to know, who is she?
Who's who?
Come on. If you're gonna be a
I
partner,
mean, I'm really excited to, I work really hard, put all the effort into, become a partner here. And
yeah, we've seen it. The long hours, the weekend work, the lack of social life. We've noticed you've worked hard, and there's only one reason that we all know about that why a man or a woman or whoever would do such a thing. There's somebody in your past. Who is she?
Who is she?
No, there's no one. There's nobody. I just love being a lawyer. I love, I love my job. I love my work.
Debbie Downley. That's mine. Her name is Debbie Downley.
Okay.
5th grade. I just got the cleanest Nikes in my life. Walked them right in front of her. I said, "Hi, Debbie. Notice anything new?" She said, "Who are you?" Since that day, I'm going to make sure that Debbie knows who I am. That's why my name is on this building. You see? It's facing, she drives to work on the street. So she has to drive by this building. She knows. I'm sure she knows my name now. That was my drive. So who is she?
No, I mean, seriously, I'm just a really dedicated lawyer, and I believe in truth and justice, and I want to fight for the law.
Yeah. We hear you, but let me cut to the chase with you. You know who mine's is? Mine's is my freshman high school English teacher, Miss Bardine. She told me I wasn't gonna never be shit. First day of class. First day of class.
Hmm. Wow.
Now, I did play a whole bunch of pranks on her that day, but that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. You don't tell a kid that. So you know what I do now? I bought every home her family ever owned, and I kicked them out. And it took me my whole life to accumulate the money to do it.
Mhm.
That's why
It's one of the first things he did when he became a partner here. Was started buying houses.
You know, her aunt used to work at this law firm. I bought her house. I bought out her contract here at this law firm, and I threw her out.
Yeah.
He has
Wow.
a
That's,
monopoly on that family now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I own the family. I even bought her grandfather's burial plots. I own the funeral land that her family's born on. Guess what I'm about to do? Put them out.
okay. I mean, that doesn't sound like, like that much of a productive use of your time, but okay.
Ambition never sleeps, kid.
Yeah, I know. That's why I work hard here because I'm ambitious. I want to be a good lawyer, and that's it. There's no other reason I'm here.
There's always another reason, Amici. Take my story, for instance. You can tell I'm a little bit older than all the other people here in this boardroom for good reason. I was married once to Mr. Kirkland, Mr. Jeffrey Kirkland Jr. We married a long time. I worked my fingers to the bone to put him through med school. Oh, when he graduated, gynecologist obstetrician, went on to build his practice, found another woman and left me, kicked me out of the house. I had nothing. You know what I did?
What'd you do?
I wooed and married his father, Jeffrey
that is
Kirkland
sweet.
Sr. And I worked hard. Mr. Kirkland put me to school. I became an engineer. I developed the speculum, the most famous and the most popular speculum used in pap smears today. So every time Jeffrey Kirkland has to use that Kirkland speculum, everybody says, "Hey, Jeff, is this yours?" He has to say, "No, it's my ex-wife's, and she married my father."
Love it.
Every
Wow,
time.
that is
That's some ambition.
that is a
right
great
there.
piece of revenge.
motivation.
Oh, so
That's
God damn it, Amici. If you want to be a partner, you need to be honest with us. You need to be open with us. I'll give you one last chance. Who is she?
Who?
Look, guys, I'm telling you, I'm being honest about just.
I'm sorry.
Well-
I thought I thought we chose right.
Yeah, you said he was. You said he. You said
I don't
he
think
was
he's
I was
ready.
so sure.
He's
I
not
was so
ready.
sure.
Very
I obviously made a mistake.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've wasted your time, Amici.
You sound just like my mother. Whenever I ask for another piece of cake.
Mhm.
Yeah. After dinner sometimes, we finish eating dessert and still a bit hungry, and I try to go back to the kitchen to get another piece of cake. She's like, "No, you already had some." I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna get my own cake. Okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna get my own cake, and you're gonna be able to tell me no.
Wow.
Amici, have you gotten that cake yet?
No.
Well, you have today. Here it is, right here. We got you, okay? And see,
Welcome to the firm.
welcome to the firm. No, I think that's true. I think that's
For
true.
sure. Even if it's not scaled like that, it's definitely something like that.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So yeah, speaking of lost loved ones, misconnections. I don't even know how to
Yes.
properly segue this. I did have something I wanted to check in with you guys on. Little article I heard about and found. I will share my screen as I introduce it. But apparently, in this day and age, according to a research study by what was it again? I'm sure I'll find it later. But apparently 60% of young men are single, while about half that percentage of young women are single.
So
Mhm.
30% of
And-
young women are single. Okay.
Just about. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's a bit concerning to people. This article doesn't, I mean, there's a few different reasons why, and we can get into that because I'm sure you guys have all the answers. So that's why I'm bringing this to you, because
Right.
one of the one of the quotes in this article is that they don't know who these women are dating, like mathematically. Who are these women dating?
That's what I was doing the math. Like, hold
It's so
up.
easy. It's so easy. It could be other women. It could be sharing in relationships with one man.
It could be. So that's why I'm bringing it to you guys. So I want to hear from you guys. One, why is there such a disparity? And then two, how come these young men are single? How come some of the young men are single in this day and age? Feel free to jump on either one of those questions.
So
Well,
the question
I
is-
think it's like who's asking the question to you, right?
Mhm.
Somebody you don't really want to talk to. You know, someone like, hey, you single? You know,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah, I'm in a relationship. You know, leave me alone.
Uh-huh.
Or you know, you're trying to cheat, so you're like, yeah, no, yeah, I'm single. You know, so there's that part.
You're trying to cheat.
Yep, you got to rule out them. That's about another 30% of people trying to scam.
Could be.
I can't imagine any man who gets asked that question that's not married or engaged. At least a high population of those men to admit that they are not single. So I wonder, is they mean single as in relation, like boyfriend, girlfriend, or single as in not married?
Yeah.
Living with a partner, or
They mean not in a relationship. And even in a few of these, they say a lot of these guys are friendless.
wait, 60% of the men is what they said have no relationship. Well, I will say this. I would say that I don't know statistically the data, but I would say I do think there are more lonely wolf men than there are women because of the nature and culture of socialization between the two is different. Like men, we talk about this. One of my first friend I had, I was telling my daughter this the other day. My first friends I had were people I admired because of what they were able to do. They were able to do something that I admired, that I thought was cool, whether it was tell funny jokes or something. But they almost had to like prove their weight to me, even if I wasn't aware of it. And I'm sure some of my friends were the same. I can't say the same about being raised women, but I would imagine that women's relationships don't put a lot of value on like as far as women to women, what you bring to the table for me. Like,
Skills.
are you the guy that are you the guy that can beat up the bigger older guys if we're playing at the park? If you are, maybe you should play with it. Are you the guy that can dunk and you're not even out of sixth grade? Oh man, I think I might would be friends with you. And you're the kid that could build whatever. You're the kid that's, boys in my growing up experience, we gravitated to other kids based on what we did, right? And because of that, the social aspect of it can be a lot more competitive because of the things you're engaged with. So if you're an athlete, you're training constantly. You're constantly trying to build relationships with your team, your coaches. They're putting pressure on you. You're being pushed in a direction to be social as it relates to a goal. If you're not, man, for a lot of guys, we're noticing the socialization is different, right? The expectations are changing, And I can say for some of the young men I've mentored and stuff, a lot of things I push them to do is find a hobby and a thing to get better at. You will run into a person on the same path that you can connect with, right?
Mm.
It's not going to happen being at home, being safe, every meal taken care of, beds changed, mama wiping your ass. It's going to happen out of almost necessity, right? And the necessity of a goal you're doing. Speaking for men, as far as like why I think some men are, single. And then of course, with women dating other boys, in my growing up, the boys that look like had the best options, most likable, were doing things, so people respected them and admired them more. Got a lot more of the girls than the boys that didn't. And women, in my experience, more women flock to smaller populations of guys.
Well, I mean, you said that they don't even really have friends. How can you be in a relationship with someone of whatever your orientation is if you can't even be a friend? How? Because it's not that I don't believe it's not that people want you in a friendship group and then you push it away, or maybe you do. Maybe you have social anxiety. I don't know what it is, but I'm following the path of if you can't really maintain friendships with men, then you probably just can't maintain friendships, period. And
sure.
that's probably impacting your ability to form any kind of attachment to somebody.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and I agree with that. But I think the question is, why does that trend seem to be increasing for young men?
And going to that, piggybacking on that, because our society is, even though it's maybe technologically more integrated, it's not socially, like things are changing. And because things are changing, we have a lot of kids that are not, we like, I'm trying to wait to say this, get my
People
thoughts.
don't meet up in person as much as they used to.
Yeah.
Go to things, and you don't just bump into people and become friends. And it's also harder for guys to do that, I would say. Women can talk to each other, strangers. I love your dress. I love your shoes. Guys don't do that, right? Guys have fewer ways of introducing themselves to other
That's
guys.
true. Yeah.
So it can be harder. It's so yeah. How do guys do that? They have to.
And what's funny to me is sometimes the other guy would be happy to open up a conversation with like I remember I was at a friend's parents' house. We're in like the Woodlands, I think, and I was also working on my yard at the time, trying to learn more about yard care. And I saw that their neighbor had like these big bags of grass or I forget what it's called, but it keeps weeds out or whatever, like weed killer. I went over to him, like, hey man, how'd you know to get that? Or how are you going to use that? And he was like, oh yeah, let me show you something. It takes you to this garage, starts pointing at different tools and stuff that he has. Like, I'm sure you just would love to talk with someone about this stuff.
For sure.
Needs a
For
guy
sure.
to ask him about it.
For sure. Yeah, there's less opportunities for that organic meetup. There's a lot more fear around it, a lot more disconnectedness about it. And in the younger generation, they don't have anything to jump off of. We had that experience, so we kind of know what to go back to. My children, I remember taking them to the park. I was like, all right, let's go take them to the park, see a bunch of people. Let's go play with the kids. Go run. My kids were just sitting there looking like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. We're like, go introduce yourself. Go tell them your name. Go ask them if you like to play.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me that I have to really kind of teach my children that, where I didn't get taught that. It was just kind of like, all right, just go outside.
You were sort of forced to be outside.
Yeah.
And
then you came home and just say, hey, I met somebody. Finally. I met somebody. But them, they were like, what do I do? I don't know what, so yeah, it's different. It's a lot different.
Yeah, I guess we should just force them to all, like the younger generation, just put them in some big field and just like, here, just get out there. Just don't. There's food. Don't worry about it. You can eat. Just take a week. Just get out there. Figure it out, y'all. I don't know. It sounds like I just set up Lord of the Flies too, didn't it?
Yeah, because you cut them off from the society for a week.
Which would be, I mean, it's still a great idea, still a great story because it rings. In my opinion, there's some truth there. But yeah, I feel that way. They should see what the Children's Society create with them a week of isolation.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the hobby interest thing I think is
That's a good
super important. You know,
Mhm.
because
It's a hobby and it has to be outside the house, right?
yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can't knit at home and meet someone.
Nope.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not the
Cool
same.
hobby.
Too comfortable, and you need to have. Well, you have to have a level of being uncomfortable, right? Like, so I had that conversation with my daughter. Like, you have to get used to being uncomfortable. It has to be a skill that you have to develop because there's some times where the only way to get to where you need to go is to be a little uncomfortable. It doesn't mean bad. It doesn't mean evil. It's just nature. It has to be the process, right?
We cut to a we cut to a bar where a guy's just showing up for his first time at a special meetup night. Oh, okay. It's got some new blood. We got some fresh blood. Awesome. Hey, man, welcome to the uncomfortable chairs night. You picked a really interesting thing to get into, but it's a lot of fun. So the way it works is we have a bunch of these really uncomfortable chairs, and we don't quite have enough for everybody. But all you have to do really is find someone and see if they're willing to share. So they won't be sitting there long because it's pretty uncomfortable. But we do ring a buzzer at about the 5-minute mark. Anybody who's still standing, they gotta leave the bar. So you really want to find someone to meet and share a chair with, but don't get too comfortable. We find that the chairs being uncomfortable sort of helps the dialogue. So, questions? Any questions?
I think he explained it pretty well. So we
Boom.
just
Yeah.
sort of sit in one of these uncomfortable chairs.
Oh yeah. If you got a free one, go ahead and claim that. But if someone walks up to you, maybe you can share it. It's up to you. It's up to you. I'm not going to force anybody to do anything, but it's just a bit of a social. Oh, the music's starting. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and find a chair. I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. I guess I'll take this one with 3 legs. Got to balance. Okay.
So you picked the 3-leg chair, did you?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Barbara. I come to these uncomfortable chair events all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It is a hobby of mine, not the uncomfortable chairs so much as to point out that these chairs that you're sitting on, the person who designed them was racist. This person wanted a chair, but he wanted a unique chair. He'd already used enslaved Africans to form his 4-leg chair.
Damn it, lady, come on, get out of the bar. What are you doing here? This is
people need education. It's my hobby. I like to go around. Fine. All right,
please. Wait until it's over, and then you can gather or whatever. I'm sorry.
I mean, that was kind of interesting what you were saying. I was.
Maybe you can talk about that with your chair buddy if you get one.
Okay. Well, nobody's else is coming over here. Guess I'll just sit with those thoughts that she told me.
Can I grab a piece of that?
Grab a piece of what?
The chair. I was wondering if I could grab a piece of that chair.
Sure. I think it's a little racist, but the chair, not grabbing. I think the chair's a little bit racist, but sure.
Go the chair's racist, huh?
That's what I heard. And I'm trying not to.
Well,
you know what? I'm just gonna get up.
2-minute warning.
You're sitting on the chair. Does that make you racist?
Oh dang, yeah. I'm gonna stand up. I'm just gonna stand up.
Okay. Well, you don't mind if I still get a piece of that then, huh?
No, I mean, go ahead. It only has 3 legs, so it's already missing a few pieces.
Yeah. it reminds me of my firm. You know, we just added one more person to it. Gave him some cake.
Nice.
Let me ask you something.
hmm
You got somebody that motivates you to get out of bed?
I mean, yeah, of course I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Tell me about her, man. Who is she?
It's
30-second warning.
shit. I only got 30 seconds left. Then it's actually kind of a long story, but it's Beyonce. But it's a long story, but so I can't really get into it. Who are you? What's your name?
Beyonce.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
We don't have time. We don't have time. We gotta. Do you want to be friends? Do you want to be friends?
Yeah. I work all day, but I'm sure if you can come to the office, we could be friends.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, work friends. That'll be great.
Yeah. Work
And
friends.
time.
Yes, got it. Just on the line. Just
Just so everyone knows, you don't have to have a friend at the 5-minute mark. You just need to be in a chair. I was hearing some conversation about people asking if you wanted to be friends.
Oh,
Don't
sorry.
be weird, guys. Just
Sorry.
getting on
Yeah,
a chair.
it's my first time. It's my first time. And yeah. Okay.
By the way, I think he did a great job closing down the deal of friendship with me in that short amount of time. I would like to offer you an interview in my company if you're available later tomorrow.
Yeah. That sounds great.
We could
Sounds
dive a
great.
little bit more into that Beyonce conversation.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Well, I've made one friend. It's a lot for me. One day, I think I'm gonna get out of here.
Scene. Job is done.
Enough to leave there.
Well, speaking of getting out of here, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much for hopping in. Thank you, contestant, for
Yay,
popping in. Appreciate
you.
that. But otherwise, let's try to get the music going. Otherwise, we're gonna get out of here. We do this every first and third Tuesday of each month. And the next one, we'll see you. We out.